The Bucs 50 season celebration is sponsored by Advent Health, the exclusive hospital of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs are celebrating 50 seasons of Tampa Bay football, and News Channel 8 is proud to have been on their side every yard of the way. Tonight, we look back at the Bucs' legacy and the Hall of Fame moments over the years. Two historic franchises teaming up for greatness. This is the Bucs 50 season celebration on News Channel 8, your official Bucs station.
And welcome to our Bucs 50 season celebration. I'm Josh Benson.
And I'm Eileen Natchik. News Channel 8 has been covering your Tampa Bay Buccaneers since they were born in 1976.
Yeah, WFLA brought you stories on your favorite players and coaches, the highs, the lows, and pretty much everything in between for 50 of the 70 years we have served Tampa Bay.
Over the next hour, we will take you through the last 5 decades from day one to now. But first, the timeline.
Intercepted. Running with the football is Rondé Barber. Throws up in the head. Intercepted. Derek Brooks all the way. Touchdown Tampa Bay. There it is. The dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
It's hard not to dance to that.
That's a pretty good beat there, yeah.
So many of the players and coaches you just saw in that short clip have made a difference for the Bucs over the last 50 years.
They sure have. And where do you go when you have made an impact on the franchise in such a big way? Well, the Ring of Honor at Raymond James Stadium, of course. Here is a list of those currently in the Ring of Honor. And there's a lot of household names on here, like Lee Roy Selmon and Warren Sapp. You also have Derek Brooks, John Lynch, and owner Malcolm Glazer, Rondé Barber, and the 2 Super Bowl winning coaches, Bruce Arians and John Gruden.
This list will soon be at 16, and the newest member, Simeon Rice. He'll be inducted at halftime against the Arizona Cardinals, a ceremony and tradition Tampa Bay has done since the first induction. And that first induction, the late defensive end Lee Roy Selmon, he was drafted #1 overall in 1976 when the franchise began. And get this, he spent his 9 NFL seasons in Tampa Bay.
That's right, and Selmon unfortunately died from a heart attack in 2011 at the age of 56. But News Channel 8's Jeff Patterson explores Selmon's legacy from the person who knew him best, his wife, Glazer Selmon.
Please welcome number 64,
Lee Roy Selmon was always a fan favorite, the first draft pick of the team, the first member of the team to be inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame in 1995, the first member of the team to be recognized in the Ring of Honor in 2009, a recognition he took with his classic grace and humble nature.
It's great to have been, to be a part of this history. I don't take it for granted.
Selmon was a hard-hitting lineman on the field and a quiet man of few words off the field. And no one knew him better than his lifelong partner and wife, Glazer.
He was just proud to be back there.
She showed me a wall of honor for her husband in her home, a room filled with photos and trophies.
I think they presented this to him on the field during that game.
They first met at the University of Oklahoma, where Lee Roy and his brothers had already developed a fierce reputation on the football field.
That's where the first time I actually spoke with him. I was sitting there with a friend. We were having lunch in between classes.
They met at a KFC restaurant off campus because her friend was too shy to ask for an autograph.
I had no special passion for football. I didn't understand football.
One thing led to another, and they would stay together for the rest of Lee Roy's life. She was with him from the start in Tampa, even if she wasn't a big fan of the weather in Florida.
Lee Roy fell in love with Tampa day one. And I was like, it's awfully hot up here.
Like many, she saw her husband's gentleness off the field.
Yeah, that's what really made me fall in love with him, is that he was just such a sweet, gentle, respectful young man. And you know, in sports, that was hard to come by.
And his true competitive nature on the field.
He was a competitor, the most competitive person I think I've ever known. When it came to playing, if he was playing basketball with the kids, or we were playing cards, or we were playing jacks, he was going to beat you.
After his playing days, he first transitioned to banking, and then he became part of the athletic department at USF.
He loved it here. He loved USF. He loved what he was doing there.
I was there in 2002 when the new USF Bowl football program took on the Oklahoma Sooners in Norman.
You have to admire the heart of this South Florida team.
And Oklahoma recognized Mr. Selmon at halftime with accolades from legendary Oklahoma coach Barry Switzer.
There could be no better role model than Lee Roy Selmon.
These may be the times Glazer misses her husband the most.
I just wish that he were here every time he's given an honor or an award or something like this. I think you should be here to recognize just how much you meant to this community.
Selmon is missed every day, a legend gone too soon. Since 1976, more than 1,200 players have suited up for the Bucs, and the team recently released its top 50 players of all time.
Yeah, it's quite a list, and we have 50 through 41 after our first break. But first, we're going to rewind back to 1979 when the Bucs clinched its first ever division title, becoming Central Division champs on a rainy day at the Old Sombrero.
Driving rainstorm at Tampa Bay today, the Buccaneers clinched their first ever division championship with a 3-0 hard-fought win over the Kansas City Chiefs.
The words can't really describe it because we just accomplished something nobody even thought that could happen. Best time of my life right now. You know, winning this game means a lot to everybody along with myself.
It's been 4 long years, and I think the players and the fans of Tampa really deserve it. And right now we got the playoffs left, and believe it or not, it's going to be here in Tampa even.
This is the Bucs 50 season celebration.
There isn't a more famous catch than this one. Cam Brate hauling in the Lombardi Trophy thrown by Tom Brady during the 2020 Super Bowl boat parade. Brate comes in as number 48 on the Bucs top 50 list and ranks second of all time among Bucs tight ends with 273 catches and 33 touchdowns. Welcome back to our Bucs 50 seasons celebration. Let's take a look at the players ranked 50 to 41 on the all-time Bucs list. Besides Brate, 3 other players from that 2020 Super Bowl team are on the list of 50 to 41. Gronk comes in at 50, JPP comes in at 43, and Ryan Jensen is at 41. Other notable names in this section are kicker Martin Gramatica at 49 and running back Doug Martin at 44.
Well, the man tasked with leading the first Buccaneers team in 1976 was John McKay, a legendary college coach at USC, known for his football acumen and, of course, his sense of humor. Kenny Morales spoke with McKay's son and former Bucs general manager Rich McKay to learn about the early years of Bucs football.
John, were the Jets cursing at you?
Yeah, I heard a guy call me several names and embarrassed me using that kind of language on a football field.
Obviously, your father, John, accomplished so much as a football coach, but I feel like you can't talk about him without talking about his wit. He had so many great one-liners, the McKayisms. Is there one through the years that stands out in your mind, or was maybe one that he saved for you guys as a family at home?
No, I mean, so the one-liners were sometimes defensive, sometimes offensive, meaning he sometimes wanted to get the media a little bit on their heels and get off the game. Notre Dame, USC, 1966 at the Coliseum. We lost 51-0, worst loss in the history of USC. First question, what do you tell your team after a loss like that? And his answer, those that need showers, take them. And I think that line just kind of because everybody in the whole room just kind of laughed and couldn't stop laughing.
I've been in it a long time, gentlemen. I've looked out there. You are as good a team as they are. Now, if you do not make mistakes and you make a big play, you will win. If you do the other, they will win. Unfortunately, we have done the other.
I know those first couple years with Tampa Bay were rough, to say the least.
Yeah,
maybe that's me being nice about it. But
I said in one interview that they were dark days, but they were darker than that.
But obviously he stuck out, and not a lot of guys would. Some might decide to change paths. Why do you think he ended up deciding to stick it out?
Really good question. I appreciate the question. So 1977, end of season, there was an opportunity that was a big time opportunity, and he told us, I came here, I gave him a promise, I said what I would do, and we're going to see this to the end. My mom was kind of in favor of that, but my dad was, this is what we're going to do.
What really went through my mind when the game was almost over was that I was happy for the players on the team, and of course the fans that have stuck with us.
77, you guys get that first win.
Yes.
I want to say you were around maybe 17, 18?
Yeah, I'm at Princeton. I was at Princeton. I was, I guess I'm a freshman, right? And so in those days, you won't remember, and many people watching this won't remember, but in those days, you watch the games, you saw, like I would watch the Giants or the Eagles, because that's in Princeton, that's what you watch. And you got the scroll, and they only updated the score once a quarter. And so I just sat there and watched it, and then we won. Got a call from the locker room from my brother-in-law, my now brother-in-law, who was working for my dad then, and it was pure pandemonium.
I know, obviously, your father passed away a couple years before the Bucs' first Super Bowl. Since then, another Super Bowl for this franchise, numerous division titles. What do you think your father would say about this franchise if you were alive?
Fantastic. Fantastic that the franchise is where it is, and that the franchise overcame what was, an unfair start. Those expansion teams had no chance. But I think the big moment, and he was there for it, was getting the stadium deal done, getting the franchise solidified. He saw all that, and you could see where the franchise was going to go, so he'd be jacked about that.
At their first home game of the season against the Jets, the Bucs celebrated their first 50 years by inviting more than 100 former players and coaches to a pregame tailgate. Sounds pretty fun. And then honored them at the field at Ray J.
Yeah, and as News Channel 8's Jeff Patterson reports, some of the first Buccaneers and other iconic figures were there.
For many years, the orange and white uniforms, or creamsicle colors with Bucco Bruce on the helmet, was taboo in Tampa. At their first home game this year, the Glazer family and Bucs organization honored it.
I'm very proud now that our organization as a whole has embraced all of our history.
Derek Brooks says allowing the team to wear the orange and white again shows the team is truly celebrating all 50 years.
It was frowned upon because it was synonymous with losing. But the fact that we don't have to be embarrassed about that today as a community is what I'm proud of.
It's not hard to understand why orange and white was shunned here for so long. The Bucs went 0-26 from their first game in 1976 through 1977. Legendary Bucs safety Mark Cotton lived those years. For him, being introduced at halftime was meaningful.
It means that we haven't been forgotten about. We're still relevant. We still went 0-26, but we had a magical year in 1979.
He was introduced alongside Tampa team notables like Mike Allstott.
This is a dream come true again. Every time I step in this stadium or be in Tampa, it's a dream come true.
Allstott's name was cheered by fans as if he had just scored another winning touchdown.
What does it do to you when you walk on that field? Fearless fans react to your name again.
You're gonna make me cry. Yeah, it's emotional.
Warwick Dunn was also on the field and at a pregame tailgate party hosted by the team.
Really like teamwork, that locker room feel that we all feel when we saw the guys today at the tailgate. It's like, oh my God, I hadn't seen you in it's like 100 years.
Super Bowl winning coach John Gruden was there. Players, their families, and coach Bruce Arians were also at the tailgate.
I can say that I've worked for a lot of donors in this league, and no one compares to this family. And the things they did today for the guys is just amazing.
And over these 50 years, the Bucs have given fans a lot to cheer about. And who calls most of these moments? Well, Gene Deckerhoff, the voice of the Buccaneer Radio Network.
But what's his favorite call of all time? News Channel 8's Gia Lancey caught up with Deckerhoff to find out.
Here's the snap looking. Mayfield throws a dart toward the end zone. Caught ball. Mike Evans. Touchdown Tampa Bay.
For 37 of the 50 years of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Gene Deckerhoff has been the voice of the organization.
This is our 50th anniversary, so 37 years I've had the privilege, distinct privilege of saying touchdown Tampa Bay.
From Tampa Stadium to unveiling every banner hung at Raymond James Stadium. The teams may look different, but the signature voice has stayed constant through generations of Bucs fans. Deckerhoff is engulfed in Tampa Bay football, from studying the team at Advent Health Training Center to calling over 1,300 Bucs touchdowns over 37 years. If you're a Bucs fan, you know the legendary phrases Deckerhoff has crafted. Of course, there is his signature
touchdown Tampa Bay,
as well as
fire them cannons,
which inspired the shooting of the cannons you hear after each touchdown.
I noticed the pirate ship, and people say, well, what do they put a pirate ship in a stadium for? I get home, my grandson says, Granddaddy, I want to go to a Buccaneers game. I want to see that pirate ship. So all of a sudden, it dawned on me, what a great marketing tool that pirate ship is.
Walk me down memory lane. What is your favorite call of all time?
Rodney Barber's pick six to beat Philadelphia in the NFC Conference Championship game below freezing temperatures, and the Bucs had never won before in a game that was below freezing. We did that day, and we were invited to the Super Bowl, and we beat the Oakland Raiders. That is my favorite all-time call.
Before we take another break, let's go back to 2019 and travel across the pond with the Bucs in London.
Yeah, Tampa Bay has played in England 3 times, and News Channel 8 has been there covering the team and the fans who always travel well no matter where the Bucs play.
Good evening from London, where the Bucs have taken over Trafalgar Square and the pub, the Admiralty. Did you ever think you would see Jameis Winston on a double-decker bus? Is it easy to get a crowd fired up by just putting on the drums and starting to bang them?
All we have to do is walk down these steps and they just start screaming.
This is the Bucs 50 season celebration.
Listen, I'm never going to be Tom Brady. There's a reason he has won so many Super Bowls. He's the greatest of all time. There's no doubt about that. And I'm not going to try and beat Tom. I'm going to be me. That's what's gotten me to this point. We're going to do it differently, but that's what makes this league so special. Everybody puts their own touch on it.
It's a pretty good answer there. That's Baker Mayfield the day he was introduced as a Buccaneer in 2023. And a few years later, he lands as number 38 on the Bucs top 50 list. Replacing Brady? No problem. He has led the Bucs to 2 NFC South crowns in his first 2 years in Tampa Bay. Welcome back. Well, let's continue with another look at the top 50 Buccaneers of all time list. Safety Mark Cotney, who you heard from earlier, is number 40. Super Bowl champ Brian Kelly at 39. Baker sits at 38, and Mike Washington and Hugh Green are 37 and 36. And we have a few modern era Bucs from 35 to 31, including Vincent Jackson at number 33, Davin Joseph at 32, and Joey Galloway at 31.
We've shown lots of love to many players and coaches so far, but how about the job Jason Light has done? The 5th general manager in franchise history. He was instrumental in bringing Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield to Tampa Bay. But in 2014, his first ever draft pick as a GM in the NFL was future Hall of Famer Mike Evans. Light was recently asked, other than raising the Lombardi Trophy, what's his all-time favorite memory?
Mike getting the record for sure, 100%. It's an amazing moment that I'll never forget. I'll remember every second of that, fourth quarter probably for the rest of my life.
Bucs fans will always remember the catch last year that gave Mike Evans his 11th consecutive 1,000-yard season. When it's all said and done, he will likely end up in Canton. But before he shined playing football, he was a prolific basketball player.
Yeah, so we went back to where it all started for the superstar in the small town of Galveston, Texas, to learn how his hometown made him who he is today.
Greatness doesn't happen by accident. It's built. For Mike Evans, it all starts on the practice field. His unparalleled work ethic is what's helped him become one of the greatest players to ever put on a Bucs uniform. But you can't tell the story of Mike Evans without talking about his hometown of Galveston, Texas.
It's a little bit different now. It's always been a tourist town, but it was a little more hard-nosed, blue-collar when I was coming up.
but it made me who I am today, and it made me super tough.
When you look at Evans, it's easy to see why he's such an elite receiver. His 6'5" frame makes him a matchup nightmare, but it's the intangibles you don't see that truly make him special. Intangibles that Jared Temple saw in Evans at an early age, not on the gridiron, but on the basketball court.
So I go to the middle school game, Central Middle School right down the street, and I see this tall, lanky kid running up and down the court. I didn't think it was anything too special, but what I realized later, especially when he got to high school, this dude's hard. This dude's hard. He just kept getting better each and every year.
Temple was Evans' basketball coach at his alma mater, Ball High School. Little did he know that tall, lanky middle schooler would develop into one of the best basketball players in the state.
Not many people know this, but Mike was headed to UT, University of Texas, to play basketball for Rick Barnes.
Evans' talent was only matched by his desire to be great.
He just had a different love for the game. Like, he wanted to make every play. He had a lot of hustle. He never lollygagged, and he would get on other people for lollygagging and not going their hardest. I remember in particular one practice where I was just out of it, just frustrated for different reasons, and Mike talked to me in the locker room, just kind of reassured me. It's only one day, we got more practice, and of course he's making me laugh.
He want to win, and if you're not on the same page as want to win, he's gonna get on you.
It wasn't until his senior year that Evans decided to take his talents to the football field. Those closest to him knew he had the ability to play, but they could have never imagined he would blossom into the star he is today.
If you'd asked me if I thought this would happen, I'd be lying.
It's like watching a movie, and it's just like the movie never ends, you know what I'm saying? Because I've been knowing him for so long.
While Evans' star continues to rise, one thing remains the same: his love for the city of Galveston. And the city loves him back.
Mike's a legend here, man. Everybody loves Mike. He comes back, gives to the city. A lot of guys don't have to do that. It's just always good to see him in Galveston, and he loves Galveston.
Mike Evans has been used to the bright lights since coming into the league, and the spotlight was on the players, coaches, and select fans who went to the Tampa Theater for the premiere of the Buccaneers' 50th season documentary. For everybody who walked the red carpet, they say it was a night to remember.
First of all, I'd like to say, man, this is Hollywood. I'm just extremely proud of the organization to put this together to honor the 50th year of the Buccaneers. And I'm representing the guys that helped get this thing started.
Well, when you look back, you're talking about 50 years, number one, and it still be standing after all this time. I came here in 1978. That's almost 40-some years ago, man, and to still be here and be a part of this celebration is something to be thankful for.
50 years is a long time. So to be able to sit here and go back and reflect on from 1976 to today, it's been unbelievable.
I'm thankful to the Glazer family for making this happen. 50-year celebration of the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it.
There's so much history, so many great players that I'm just be able to chop it up with. The fact that they're honoring so many great players and that I'm included with it, it's unbelievable.
It means the world to me to be in Tampa. I used to live right down the street from this, a wonderful place. It feels great to be a part of the Bucs, and we're entering our 50th season, and hopefully it's a big time one.
But just to go back and really on day one, Lee Roy Selmon, and see the greatness and how lucky we were, not only in 1976 to draft Lee Roy, and then you have 1995, right, with Warren and Derek, to hear from over 100 people. And that's the beauty of the 50th, right? Everybody's been willing and happy to come back and see each other. This whole thing is really one big family. And all the things I've taken away from this thing, you realize this is a family.
It's just been a great trip down memory lane, putting this all together, and I think people will really enjoy seeing the history.
Blocking for Tom was one of the greatest parts of my career. I mean, honestly, the dude was elevated everybody around him.
So to be a part of that first Super Bowl was special, and something that's asked to me almost every day, and I love telling the stories about it because it's impactful to my life.
Getting emotional just a little bit ago. Yeah. What makes you emotional? Why do you get emotional about it?
Well, when you put your whole life's work into something, and there's only a select few that ever get that opportunity, but then the only select few that ever win it. There's a group of 53 guys that came together, some great coaches, great trainers, great players, and some guys get lifted higher than others, but to actually accomplish that and have confetti fall on your face, that's a dream come true.
Yeah, just one of two coaches to win a Super Bowl here. What does it mean to you to be embedded with this franchise for a long time because of that?
Well, it was just great to be a part of the first one, to share that with a lot of people that work really hard. Seems like yesterday, but it's a long time ago.
I can see the video of you sitting in the car in the parade with Malcolm Glazer. What was that moment like?
That was great. He took quite a risk in giving me an opportunity to come here in the middle of the night all by myself. He showed a lot of trust in me, and I will always thank him for that. And wherever he is tonight, I'll always look at him as my friend.
And speaking of Malcolm Glazer, let's take a closer look at where he came from and how his family built this legacy. The story starts with a man growing up in New York with humble beginnings, selling watches door to door at 15, and turned that success into a billion-dollar family business.
This year, a new era began. Malcolm Glazer reached into his wallet and pulled out nearly $200 million to buy the Bucs.
It was January 16th, 1995, when the Glazer family held their very first press conference after buying the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for $192 million.
I just remember, A, the excitement, but B, remember the task at hand, because at that time, the team wasn't doing well, a lot of struggles, and while it was euphoric to acquire an NFL team, just knew how much work there was to be done.
But Malcolm Glazer got to work fast. It was a rebrand that started from the bottom, beginning with hiring a new head coach, Tony Dungy, taking a chance on a man who had never been at the helm of an NFL team. They shed the creamsicles, and the pewter and red was born. Next task, a state-of-the-art stadium. Raymond James became the new home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And no more training camp at the University of Tampa, where the players stay in dorms while practicing. Fans were happy. Malcolm loved the people of Tampa Bay, and the people of Tampa Bay loved Malcolm.
I think his most enjoyable times were when he was with fans and seeing fans anywhere he was, and just meeting people and talking to them. That's what he loved.
Legendary head coach Tony Dungy started a winning culture, but the Glazers wanted more, a Super Bowl. So they hired John Gruden. That same year, the Glazer family got what they wanted, Super Bowl 2002. 18 years later, they got another one, this time with his children leading the franchise and with the GOAT, Tom Brady. Many say that Malcolm Glazer saved the franchise, and it's his children who aim to continue to make both Malcolm and Bucs fans proud.
I'd like to think we're a very welcoming organization. We want to win as much as anybody, and so I think he'd have a big smile on his face right now.
I think so too. Time for another break, but let's look back to 2003 when News Channel 8 was with your Buccaneers in Japan for their first overseas game.
Yeah, they played a preseason game with the Jets at the Tokyo Dome, and the trip was about much more than just football.
Would you look at this? Welcome to the official welcoming party of Tokyo Bowl 2003. This is going to be a fabulous party, and you have a front row seat. Come on. The highlight of the night, the ceremonial opening of the sake keg. Now that's exciting. As was the kabuki dance that had John Lynch absolutely captivated. Simba, how are you enjoying your Japanese adventure here?
The Japanese adventure is cool. It's a lovely thing.
This is the Bucs 50 season celebration.
I'm just elated, we win the Super Bowl. That's what everybody dreams of when they're kids, see everybody playing on Super Bowl Sunday, so it's huge, to win the Super Bowl, and I'm happy.
Shelton Quarles comes in at number 22 on the Bucs top 50 players of all time. The former linebacker is 5th in team history with 985 career tackles. And get this, Quarles is still with the team as the senior director of football operations. As we dive into the final 30 players left on the top 50 list, you'll start to see more familiar names. Ali Marpet comes in at 30 and Brad Johnson sits at 28. Current safety Antoine Winfield Jr. comes in at 26. And to round out 25 to 21, we've got Vita Vea at 24 and Shaq Barrett at 23. As I previously mentioned, Quarles at 22.
And thanks in part to quarterback Brad Johnson at number 28. The Bucs won their first Super Bowl in San Diego. So let's take a look back at 2003 at News Channel 8's special coverage when the team came back to celebrate with Buccaneers fans here in Tampa Bay.
Waiting 27 years to get to the Super Bowl and then win, well, that is almost too much for one community to take. News Channel 8's Keith Cade has more.
Buccaneer fans, your team just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next? Thousands of fans drove towards Raymond James Stadium Sunday night to share their relation with anyone and everyone in sight. After a day-long wait, the first in line sprinted towards the edge of the field where the players would soon be standing. A police escort rushed the team to center stage. One by one, the stars of the show spoke in short, simple sentences that made hearts beat even faster.
I just want you to keep the party alive, baby. We'll find a way to celebrate with you. World champions!
We've talked about many Bucs legends, but I want to talk about a WFLA legend, Gail Sierens. She's the first woman to call a regular season NFL game. She covered the team when the Bucs won their first game and won their first Super Bowl. She began her career at News Channel 8 in 1977 as a sports reporter and ended her career in 2015 on the desk as a main anchor for news. 38 years at News Channel 8. She walked so I could run. Gail Sierens. What was it like when they stepped off the plane after their first win against the New Orleans Saints?
Chaos, crazy, fun. I mean, everybody in Tampa was like going nuts. And they should have been. I was up there just trying to get everything I could get, either tell me this, tell me that, but it was just chaotic, if you really wanted to know. It was just so much fun just to be part of that and to look back on it and say, wow.
Tampa, this year's side of the Pro Bowl.
And whether it was sports or news, you were there from the very beginning to their first Super Bowl. To be a part of the turnaround, what does that mean to you?
We weren't great in the beginning. We tried to be great, but we were not great.
I have to say one thing about the Buccaneer fans. They are dedicated big time.
It was just so nice to have so many people happy, and people get really, as you know, people get really intense when it comes to their loving team.
Is there a favorite memory or game that you covered?
Anytime they won, it was like, miracle!
Years going down the drain. Can you stink?
What was it like covering a team that was that bad?
Well, it was always really fun when Coach McKay would start talking after the game because he had this very, very, very funny sense of humor. There were probably a lot of people who were listening on this and say, I don't know, we just wished it had been so much better. This is life, and it doesn't always start out perfectly when you begin something, but
it's their story.
It's their story.
It's their journey. It's the story of
and it's my
the
story.
Bucs.
I love to go back and think about those days when we were at those games and how exhausting they could be because they were so terrible, or how fabulous they could be when they would finally win. It's a good view back when I think about those days.
This is Gail Sierens for the Pro Bowl preview. Back to you, Mike.
Such a cool experience talking
great lady.
with her.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons the Bucs won their first Super Bowl was Hall of Fame cornerback Rondé Barber.
No doubt. When he was drafted back in 1997, Barber fit right in with the defensive scheme created by then coach Tony Dungy and defensive coordinator Monty Kiffin. Now that defense, the Tampa 2, is still used today, and it was perfected by the man himself, Rondé Barber.
Break it down for us.
All right.
How does this work?
In simplest terms, I'll write it for you real quick. Get an offense first, center, guard, tackle, guard, tackle. Let's put a tight end over here, wide receiver, slot wide receiver, other wide receiver, running back, quarterback. This was 99, 3 technique. You got a nose tackle. All right, you need a middle linebacker, you need a nickel back, and you need a will backer, 55. That's Derek Brooks. Corner, safety, safety. All right, that's the basic set up.
But why did this work out so well for you guys?
This worked out well because when quarterbacks see two high safeties, middle of the field is where they want to go with the football. Tampa 2, and it's genius, you're making this guy, this middle linebacker, this guy occupies this space once the ball is snapped. These guys skate to the numbers. Corners are in the flat, rerouting, making the receivers go outside. This guy and this guy do all the work. So the middle of the field's protected. The safeties have everything above and beyond down the field, and these two guys get to make all the plays.
For you being obviously such a huge part of this, do you have some sense of pride when it comes to that?
Yeah, for sure, because we know that everybody tried to emulate what we did, and they didn't do it as well as we did.
Well, now you know how it works. Well, we have to take a quick break, but let's look back on News Channel 8's coverage after the Bucs' first win in 1977, beating the New Orleans Saints in the Superdome. Fans were actually treated to a 30-minute special report the very next day.
To celebrate the Buccaneers' first win, WFLA presents the following special program. Welcome to the most exciting, jam-packed half hour of sports programming this side of the Mississippi tonight. Channel 8 Sports presents a special program covering the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' first regular season victory in the National Football League. Lee Roy, let me start with you. Why did you win yesterday?
I just thought everybody was up and really well prepared for the game, going in. And I think a big factor came when Coach McKay came into our pregame meeting and told us about a few things that had been said down there from this New Orleans teams.
It gave me an opportunity when a lot of people didn't believe in me because I was, 5'8", 170 pounds coming out of college. They gave me an opportunity, but I still had to show up. I had to work out, I had to prove.
And Warrick Dunn sits at number 15 on the Bucs' top 50 list, and boy, did he prove it. The first Buccaneer ever to receive Offensive Rookie of the Year back in 1997. But his work off the field is most impressive. Warrick Dunn Charities helps single-parent families purchase homes, 245 and counting. He's also assisted with over $1 million in down payments for these families, and that dedication led to him being named the Walter Payton Man of the Year back in 2004. Welcome back. We're almost done with the top 50 list. So here are players 20 through 11. Richard Batman Wood and James Wilder, they rank 20 and 19. Gerald McCoy is 18. Jimmy Giles, 17. And Chris Godwin Jr. sits at number 16. As for the top 15, we got Dunn, Simeon Rice, Doug Williams, Hardy Nickerson, and Paul Gruber. And earlier, you heard from Lee Roy Selmon after the Bucs got their first win. To say it was a long time coming is an understatement, but one fateful day on December 11th, 1977, broke their 26-game losing streak. Yeah, that's long. We're going to take a quick stroll down memory lane with the help of the WFLA archives and linebacker Richard Batman Wood.
Behind me, the Louisiana Superdome here in the city of New Orleans, a city famous for Bourbon Street, for Al Hirt, Pete Fountain, and Mardi Gras. Well, Mardi Gras is still a couple of months off, but don't tell that to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Plenty of celebrating going on here after their very first win in the National Football League.
The good part about it, guys, we can win them all and mix it right now.
It's the first time in 2 years I've been in a winning locker room, and it's great. I almost forgot what it was like.
How do you feel right now?
I feel real good. It's, who'd have thunk it?
Kind of, flabbergasted, but hey, I feel like a new man.
If you could have came in the locker room, oh my God, after that game, I mean the tears, the enjoyment, the fun, all the way back to Tampa, and you get off the airplane, and I mean there's a million fans outside, but that locker room was so thunderous with joy. You see the tears, it was just emotional. It was very emotional, man.
Later this year, Simeon Rice, one of the most prolific pass rushers in franchise history, will be inducted into the Bucs Ring of Honor. Kenny Morales sat down one-on-one with Rice to talk about his football journey and his time as a Buc.
Simeon, first off, congratulations. Becoming the newest inductee into the Bucs Ring of Honor. What was your initial reaction?
My real reaction was the reaction when I on stage, when I really was realized what this is for my little man, for my son. That's what brought the emotions out. It was a form of honoring my father to be able to put his name in the Ring of Honor. I remember the conversations and telling my pops I'm gonna take care of him one day, and he's still handing me that hammer and nail and be like, you gonna still finish the side of the house. Throughout my young life, all I wanted to do is be the best version of myself as a football player. And I love the game of football, and I loved it so much. When I was 6 years old and I asked my parents to get me a helmet, and I slept in a helmet that was like 3 sizes too small, and me working in my pop's father and son shop, he built us, you know, you're gonna do this for a living. And I was like, no, I'm gonna play football for a living, and I'm gonna take care of you. You know, and my father was like, yeah, you're gonna learn how to do this wall, you know, put up this siding right now and things of that nature. So that's what that means.
We heard Brian Glazer during the press conference mention it's an oversight that you're not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The numbers speak for themselves. Do you believe you deserve to be in Canton, and is it still important to you?
Yeah, I mean, I always known I believe it. I thought I was first ballot. You can't ask me that, you know. I came in the room in the NFL Rookie of the Year. It was All-Pro out in Arizona, All-Pro here, did my thing, took it to another level, dominated all the players in front of me. I ate the food that was prepared for me, you know what I mean? I did what I did, you know, and then I helped. We had the #1 D-line in Arizona, #1 D-line here. There's only one de facto, me, you know what I mean?
Being a Chicago guy, you talked about Walter Payton being a huge inspiration for you. What did he mean for you as a young guy growing up there?
Payton was everything for me. Like, obviously we didn't have the times now where kids could just go online and look up anything. There was no such thing as online. So I was reading all the books on Walter Payton. I was looking at all the videos, you know what I mean? You go to Blockbuster Video and you check out his summer workouts or the videos of himself.
VHS tapes back in the day.
VHS tapes. You look up the guys that they say that you can be similar to. Everything is built on hard work. So that's all I knew. I was like, I don't know where I'm going with this thing. I know what I want. And all I know is I'm willing to suffer for it. I went on this adventure of becoming a football player for whatever that was. And all I know is to, whatever you tell me to do it 10 times over.
We need to take a quick break, but now it's time to go back to 1995 when the Buccaneers training camp was held at the University of Tampa.
And can you believe this? Before each practice, a rookie was selected to sing in front of Buccaneers fans. And this was the first year in Tampa Bay for Hall of Famer Derek Brooks.
They, of course, are the Buccaneer rookies fighting to make the team. Tonight, life as the new kid, as seen through the eyes of Derek Brooks.
We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones that make a brighter day, so let's start giving. Time flies, but you know, being able to be a part of the organization and then be a part of the organization that helped turn it around and win a Super Bowl, I'm blessed.
The A-Train comes in at number 10 on the Bucs top 50 list. His 58 rushing touchdowns are most in team history. Now, Allstott was a big fan favorite because of how he ran.
Right, but one scary moment in 2003 almost ended his career. He injured his neck in the second game of the season and would miss that entire year. But the 6-time Pro Bowler worked his tail off and returned the next year, scoring 6 touchdowns that season.
I got hit on top of my head. I felt the compression, and I dropped to my knees. And I just felt tingling in my arms. It was scary, it really was. I am gonna be back in a uniform playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The way the surgery went and the way I felt when I woke up and the way when I left the hospital less than 24 hours after that surgery, I just knew that the job was well done. And then I took off the neck collar that night and I didn't have to wear it since. It's where it all started, 10 years. It's my life, so. The passion and the love for the game. It's a great place to play in front of these awesome fans for all those years. I just like to thank everybody for their support.
Let's take a look at the top 10 players of all time, including Tom Brady, Levante David, and Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah, 5 through 2 are Rondé Barber, Mike Evans, Warren Sapp, and Lee Roy Selmon. And the #1 Buck, you ready?
Let's hear it.
Derek Brooks.
He was drafted in 1995 and played 14 seasons with the team. I caught up with Derek during the 50th season celebration against the Jets, where he led the team out of the tunnel, and we saw the 1976 jerseys reintroduced.
When you think of Bucs legends, who do you think of?
Oh, legends. I'm always start with Mr. Lee Roy Selmon. For me, from the man he is to us, this community. So I'm always start legends, start with Leroy. And then, you know, I'll go with my man Warren. True dominance. When I saw an opportunity or to see someone dominate a game up close, he was that. And then I just go on my Hall of Fame teammates, whether it's Lynch, you know, Rondé, you know, legend, and Coach Dungy and how he impacted us. So, you know, I can go on and on, you know, with our list. Just today, just, you know, spend a little bit more time with Hardy Nickerson and what he meant as a leader to me.
Signed, sealed, ready to go play ball.
Yes, I'm very fortunate. You know, my agent and Mr. McKay was able to put the deal together this soon. That just let me know that I'm out, you know, that we're ready to win.
Take me back to the day when you were drafted with Warren. Just what was that day like?
You know, for me, I was excited that I was going to get a chance to play with him. And then I knew that both of us with our backgrounds, that the franchise was going to get turned around. Like, hey, those double-digit losing seasons, those were going to be of the past. So I was thinking that, then we got here and went to the press conference. That's all, you know, we talked about it. Say, how are we going to turn this franchise around and be a critical piece of it? Now, it took almost 18 months later. We did hiring of Coach Dungy, but the path was set, and I'm glad the Lord had those in the cards for us.
What were your first impressions like with Leroy when you met him?
Back in 1995, wow, I was humble. Just a gentle giant, and the fact that he had so much impact, that was very impressive to me.
For you to be the '1 Buck the last 50 years, when they called you and told you that, what was the moment like?
It was humbling, yeah, excited, very grateful, but I always thought about my teammates and, you know, everybody that I hit the field with. So they represent that, you know, for me, from all the hard work, sweat, tears, things that you know, you find out you miss when you get around the guys. So that's what it meant to me, was an extension, you know, of our work together, and I just represent them.
That wraps it up for us here.
And whether you're an OG Bucs fan or maybe a new one, we hope you enjoyed this journey through time with the Bucs. Have a great night.
The Bucs 50 Seasons celebration was sponsored by Advent Health, the exclusive hospital of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.